And here's the interview now with Mayor Steve Adler about the governor's plans to reopen the state's economy.
To slowly reopen businesses, at least in some limited capacity starting Friday. Do you get the sense that it's too soon, or do you think we are ready to go, ready to return to business in Austin?
Well, I have three thoughts about the governor's announcement. The first one is that we don't know at this point, and neither does the governor, as to whether or not what he's proposing is going to have us starting on another spike or not. But what we do know from the last 6 weeks of our community's work is that if the governor has overshot and we start on a spike, that we have the time and the ability to be able to notice that, to see that, and then the time to be able to react in a way that shuts it down. We can come back to the kinds of policies we have now. So ultimately, as a community, we know we can protect ourselves. The second thing is that the governor's indicated that we'll do phase 1 for a couple of weeks, and we'll see how that goes, and then go into phase 2 right after that. We're not going to know in 2 weeks what the effect is of going through phase 1 because there's a lag. What we're seeing today are people that were infected 2 weeks ago, and it takes 4 or 5 days before it manifests into an illness. It could take up to 14 days before that happens. So we're going to need more time looking at phase 1 to be able to get the early indications and then see what the trends are. And then my third thought is that ultimately our community gets to set our own rules. And we do that by the choices that we make individually and collectively. The governor has said, for example, that while everybody should be wearing a face covering, it's not mandatory. Quite frankly, in our community, I hope that all of our establishments require face coverings for people to be able to go inside. And I hope that no one in our community goes to any business operation that doesn't make that requirement, because it's not reasonable and it's reckless for someone to operate without that requirement. And we each get to make that choice individually about whether we go into that establishment or not. So to a large degree, as a community, we should feel pride for what we have done the last several weeks. And quite frankly, we've done it without police and sheriff enforcement. We've done it because we knew it was the right thing to do, and we've done it as a community, and that's going to continue.
And Mayor Adler, we have about 60 seconds left or so. He did mention that the state order and his restrictions will supersede local restrictions. You mentioned masks specifically. Do you feel like there will be some confusion about what we're hoping to implement locally versus what the state is asking for?
Well, I found the discussion about masks a little confusing because both he and the lieutenant governor said that everybody should wear masks. And if everybody should wear masks, then we ought to require it. But as I said, in our community, we get to make that choice as a community through our actions. I'm not going to go into a retail establishment that doesn't require people to wear masks. I hope that much or most or all of this community makes those same choices. We've been making those choices for the last several weeks. We can continue to make those choices for ourselves and for our community, and I hope and expect that we will.
All right, Mayor Adler, thank you for joining us. We're all digesting how we're going to return to business as our new usual. We appreciate you joining us and offering your perspective this afternoon.
Great. Thank you.